Pandemic, inflation, and global uncertainty have all taken a toll on everyone's well-being, leaving many of us feeling stressed.
Absolutely. So taking time for yourself and doing things that help your overall happiness, known as self-care, is more important than ever.
So here to help us explain how we can all get better at actually practicing self-care, a certified health and wellness coach, Jeff Siegel. Jeff, good morning to you. So a recent survey by one poll found that on average, more than half of people consider self-care a priority, yet we only spend an average of 38 minutes a day actually on those efforts. So why is it that we're not doing that? We say it's a priority, but we're not actually prioritizing it.
Right. Well, straight off the bat, I want to say that I wish we lived in a world where we didn't have to have this conversation, right? A world where self-care was just supported by our community and our culture. And unfortunately, that's not the world that we live in. The last couple of years have obviously been extremely difficult times. There's been this never-ending string of crises, and people are, facing immense amounts of stress and looking for ways to cope. And, I think there's this growing awareness that, if you don't take care of your health and wellness, no one else is going to do it for you. And so the responsibility really does fall on individuals to preserve and protect, their happiness and their well-being. And I think there are obvious reasons like lack of time and money that get in the way of doing self-care. But I think there are actually deeper mindsets, deeper narratives that show up for people that become barriers. And in particular, there are two things. One is this thought that, I know I should do self-care, but, right? And we all know that the word should can be a very difficult word because it sounds imposing, right? And then self-care becomes just another to-do on our already too long list of things that we need to take care of. And then the second one is this thought that says, I'll get around to self-care once I've finished with my work, once I've taken care of my familial responsibilities, right? And the challenge there is that there is always more work to do. And especially now because of, working from home and the blurred boundaries between kind of work and life and the culture that we live in where we're always plugged in, we're always online, that, the times in which we may have preserved or protected for being with ourselves in a more connected way have kind of eroded. And so we need to learn how to reset those boundaries for ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. I think also some people think of this as something that's more for women for whatever reason, maybe because of what we associate with kind of like the activities of taking care of yourself or indulging or whatever. But how important is it for men, tell Joe, to also take care of themselves?
Joe, it is important for you, and it is important for everybody, right? Again, within this, individualistic paradigm that we live in, self-care is essential. And that being said, I think men are faced with an additional layer of challenge of overcoming this traditional masculine identity of being, the strong, stoic man who's not allowed to show weakness, not even allowed to feel weak. And the challenge there is that, self-care begins with this emotional honesty, right? It's about taking an honest look at what you require in order to function at your best.
Wow.
And that can be really difficult for a lot of men to develop the right skills to be with those emotions. And then secondarily, to be able to communicate that, to reach out for help or to ask for time to deal with those feelings. And I also think that there are just fewer men, relative to women out there role modeling self-care and these sort of behaviors. And so therefore men, feel more limited in the types of practices or things that they could actually engage with.
Yeah. Wow. Jeff, we just got deep.
Yeah, some great points there. Now we need some men to model maybe you. I'll work on that. I can beat them.
To get emotionally honest with yourself and then share it with us.
All right.
Work on that.
So Jeff, really appreciate you taking the time to speak with us.
Yeah,
this
awesome.
morning.
It's such important advice and good to hear.